Hello, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So, Sag, today we're going to focus on your past, present, as well as your future, but we're also going to see the ultimate outcome of your current situation. So, with all that being said, Sagittarius, let's get started. For Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So, Sag, in the past, we do have the Eight of Pentacles. Your current energy is a Nine of Swords, but in the near future, we do have the Nine of Cups. As far as your ultimate outcome is concerned, we do have the Two of Pentacles. You could be dealing with a Virgo, possibly a Pisces, maybe even a Gemini or a Capricorn. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but I feel like, I don't know, like I feel like you've been keeping yourself extremely busy / occupied, but there's something that I feel like you're just trying to like avoid or not think about. It's basically what I'm getting. Obviously, we're going to get into the Nine of Swords just to kind of see what's going on, but I'm kind of getting like an energy of you like burying yourself into like work, so that way you're not sitting around thinking about something or like dwelling on something. But let's look at the Eight of Pentacles. Okay. All right. We have the Chariot. We do have the Hierophant, and then we also have the Hangman. Okay. So in the recent past, not only do I see you bearing yourself into like work, but I'm also getting that when you're not working, you're still keeping yourself extremely busy / occupied with other things is basically what I'm getting. I do feel like something is definitely fueling you to like, you know, put yourself first and like improve whatever it is that you want to essentially improve, you know, about your life as well as yourself. I'm also getting that for some of you out there. Something's fueling you though. Something's fueling you / pushing you to like focus on you, become the best version of yourself that you could possibly be. I want to look at the Chariots to see what's going on. Tell me more about the Chariot. All right, we do have the Three of Swords, okay? We do have the Fool, and then we also have the Lovers out here. I feel like what's fueling you to become the best version of yourself that you could possibly be, you know, has a lot to do with a breakup that you recently experienced, you know, with someone that you were definitely, you know, madly in love with. It just kind of looks like, unfortunately, things came to an end between you and this person. But, you know, as far as this ending between, you know, you and this person is concerned, it kind of looks like you don't really want to think about it. You don't even really want to talk about it or even like dwell on it is basically what I'm getting. I just kind of see you, like I said, you know, keeping yourself extremely busy, constantly running around, doing things, whatever you could do, you know, to prevent, you know, yourself from sitting around, you know, thinking about this person, how things came to an end, how much, you know, it hurt you and how much, you know, all of this is truly, you know, affecting you is basically what I'm getting. So what's really fueling you, I would say, to like improve whatever it is that you want to improve about yourself or your life has a lot to do with this ending that transpired between you and another person. Okay. Now, as far as the Nine of Swords is concerned, we do have the Judgment card with the Seven of Wands to the Six of Cups out here. You know, this to me feels like an energy of you like beating yourself up. You know, it's as if you knew things weren't going to work out between you and this person, but you still decided, you know what I mean, to give this person, this dynamic here between the two of you, a chance either which way. You know, we do see you sitting in a lot of regret because of the amount of time you've invested into this person, and for it to end, you know, this way, you know, yeah, we do kind of see you beating yourself up. You know, we do kind of see you falling into this energy of I should have listened to my intuition, and why did I, you know, allow it to go on for this long, things of that nature. So it kind of looks like intuitively you knew that things weren't going to work out between you and this person, but you decided to, you know, make it work either which way. And, you know, unfortunately things played out the way that it did, but I don't like the fact that you're beating yourself up, because beating yourself up is not going to undo what happened, right? I mean, you know, what's done is done, but I think that there's just such a lack of you giving yourself, you know, yeah, there's just a lack of you giving yourself like, you know, mercy and grace, to be completely honest. I just feel like you're kind of being really hard on yourself, you know? And the fact that things didn't work out between the two of you have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. Like all of this is their fault. You know what I mean? It's not your fault, you know? It's not your fault. It's their fault. So you shouldn't be beating yourself up, you know? Because you did the best that you could. You know what I mean? When it came down to this marriage, when it came down to this relationship. And I think that that's something that you need to kind of remind yourself of more. It's basically their loss, you know? All right, so in the near future, we do have the Nine of Cups with the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords to the Five of Pentacles. I like this energy because, you know, in the near future, we do see you in a much better place. So there's a lot of healing, you know, taking place on your end in the near future. You know, you're going to find yourself feeling a lot better. It's basically what I'm getting. You know, right now you may not find yourself, you know, feeling the best due to this breakup that occurred here between you and this person. Totally understandable. But, you know, in the near future, we do see you, you know, in a much better place mentally, spiritually, as well as, you know, emotionally. With the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords to the Five of Pentacles coming out here, I feel like this is you accepting the fact that, you know what, what's done is done. You know, you can't go back into time and undo anything. And I think that that's like the biggest issue that you're facing right now is the amount of time you've invested into this person, and you can't take it back, you know. But I feel like you learned a valuable lesson through this entire experience, Sagittarius. I think that, you know, moving forward, you're going to be very selective of who you choose to invest all your time and energy towards. I also feel like moving forward, if you get this feeling like, oh, it's just not going to work out between me and this person, you're just going to turn around and instantly trust it, instead of like ignore, you know what I mean? Your intuition and what your intuition is telling you. All right, so as far as your ultimate outcome is concerned, we do have the Two of Pentacles, so let's see what's going on with that. We have the King of Cups. We also have the High Priestess to the Strength card. I do see you eventually meeting someone. Now, believe it or not, I do feel like you and this someone will be in a relationship with one another. I am definitely getting marriage, though, strongly off of this connection that's eventually going to find its way to you is basically what I'm getting. I do see you, how do I explain how you're going to respond and react to this connection? I do see you intuitively, right, feeling really good about this person, but it's like mentally you're going to find yourself questioning it, if that makes absolutely any sense. If that makes absolutely any sense. Like with this like previous person, right, that you were with, like, you know, mentally speaking, you know, I mean, you may have found yourself, you know, thinking, all right, boom, this is my person. Let me go off and build a life with them. But intuitively, right, your intuition is like, nope, this is not the person for you. This is not the person for you. This is not the person for you. It's interesting because we kind of see you intuitively feeling good about them, but like mentally it's like your mind is like, no, 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 this is not the person for you. This is not the person for you. But your intuition is telling you, yes, this is the person for you. It just kind of looks like in this previous relationship, you basically trust what your mind was telling you, which was, this is the person for you, even though your intuition's like, no, they're not, you know. But then with this other individual, it's like your mind is telling you, this is not the person for you, run, 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 run. But your intuition is like, no, 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 this is the person for you. Now, I say this a lot in my readings. I don't think that we should rely on what our mind is telling us to do or our hearts are telling us to do, because both things are capable of deceiving us. One thing that will never betray us or deceive us is our intuition. If intuitively, right, your intuition is telling you, all right, you finally met the person, you know, for you, that's something that you need to essentially trust, accept, as well as believe, and everything else will fall into alignment, you know what I mean? But I just kind of see you experiencing the only inner battle, dude, with this other individual that I see eventually showing up here for you. Again, it's like your mind is telling you one thing and your intuition is telling you something completely different. You're just like, well, which one do I trust? Which one do I trust? But you've already learned that lesson already, what you should trust moving forward. And that is your intuition, because in the past, your intuition told you this is not the person for you, but your mind's like, no, they're the person for you. Go ahead, go build a life with them. And that's what you did. And unfortunately it just didn't work out, just like, you know, your intuition told you, you know, it wasn't going to. And that's the valuable lesson that you learned in this previous relationship. So the fact that you're just like, well, I just don't know what to listen to, I just don't know what to trust. Well, you do. You know that you should trust your intuition, because your intuition is never going to lie to you. It's never going to lie to you. I just kind of feel like, given what you went through over here, this is what kind of has you second guessing yourself, is basically what I'm getting. Yeah, this is what has you second guessing yourself. This connection, by the way, it is going to show up in your life when you least expect it, because it kind of looks like this, you know, relationship that you were a part of, Sagittarius. It had you in this energy of not really wanting anything to do with love. just wanting to just kind of find yourself all over again and focus on, you know, you, your independence, your finances, your career. It kind of looks like that's what you basically spent your time doing, just focusing on you, your career, your business if you have one, and just kind of finding yourself all over again and just learning how to like adjust to life without this individual in it. And then boom, that's when, like, you know, the one, you know, ends up showing up here for you. They could be a water sign strongly, so Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but this person that I see showing up here for you, it's somebody who's very serious about you. It's somebody who's trying to offer you love, but it's also somebody that you're very compatible with, Sag. I mean, this person is showing up as an Emperor. The person that's in the Strength card is the Empress, making it a true pair situation between you and this person. So you guys are more than likely going to be around the same age. I am definitely getting that. This is somebody who is of your caliber. In other words, they bring just as much to the table as you do. And then we have the Hierophant to the High Priestess. So that right there is a very strong and intense spiritual connection, Sagittarius, that I'm seeing here between you and this person. Now, technically speaking, the Hierophant to the High Priestess, these two are actually married to one another. That's why I'm saying there's a huge possibility that marriage could definitely come out of this entire situation. But yeah, Sag, it just kind of looks like this connection that you were once upon a time, you know, fell apart for something better to essentially come along. I think that once you do meet this person, you're going to look back at this moment here, you know, with a whole new perspective. You know, you're going to realize for yourself that everything in life happens for a reason. Now, you may not understand why things went left here between you and this person, but I feel like once you meet this other individual, you'll understand why things played out the way that it did and why this relationship needed to come to an end, is for this connection to fall into your life. Now, this individual that I see you meeting will be 10 times better than this person that you were once upon a time romantically involved with. So although you may be disappointed now and upset now that things didn't work out between you and this person from your past, once you meet this other individual, you're going to be extremely grateful and happy that things played out the way that it did. Because it brought you to this person, which is basically perfect for you. I mean, with the Hierophant to the High Priestess, that's a connection between two people that can connect with one another on all sorts of different levels. I mean, you guys are very compatible to one another, unlike this person that you were dealing with from your past. You know, you guys were like oil and water. You guys just simply didn't mix. You guys just weren't compatible, you know, to one another. But this entire, you know, situation fell apart so that this could fall into place for you, Sagittarius. So like I said, you might be extremely bummed out right now and disappointed right now, but I promise you, dude, when you meet this person, you're going to be really grateful that things played out the way that it did in this previous relationship, because it brought something 10 times better into your life anyways. All right, so that is what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye.